Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Talk about no sleep. You can put the name Gail Dudley behind it. I see you, Marion Jackson. I see you, Jeffrey Allen James, Robert Holman, my sister, Patricia Lyles. I see you, Kenny Stanley. I see you, Pastor Alex. I see y'all rolling up in here. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to talk about. As the frog, just as you know, as the image of the frog, the meme, just do like this. That's all we can do. Those of you on audio and podcast wondering what I did, I just have my coffee cup and I just took it up to my mouth because we don't know what's going on. What's in my coffee? Just coffee. And this is actually decaf because I plan to go to sleep as soon as this is over. What's up, brother? I see you, Camille Jones, Facebook user. I don't know if that is Devante or Noana or Mike Nicholson, but good morning to all of you. I see you, Tony Morrison Smith. I see you, Yvonne. Y'all, we have a lot to talk about. I see you, Rosanna Bivens. Good morning to all of you. Um, I see you, Pastor Dr. Annette. I see y'all. I see y'all this morning. I see y'all. I'm gonna give y'all all the energy I have. But as soon as I say I'm out, I'm sure enough out until that is tomorrow. But listen, y'all, today, what's up, Fred Jones? Today is Wednesday, November the 9th, 2022. I finally threw in the towel. Good morning, Adrian. Yeah, Adrian, let me shout these people out real quick. Um, Kim Edmondson, Mary Jenkins, Dr. Annette Jackson, Adrian Gladish. I think I got all of the viewers that I know who worked the polling locations yesterday. So I just want to give y'all a shout out. Thank you for participating in civic engagement and doing all that you do. I've been coughing more and more all morning, so I don't know what's happening. My body's probably saying you need to go somewhere and lay down for real. I see you, Shirley Nicholson. Misha, what's up? Jacqueline, what's up? But I do want to give a shout out to anyone. I know Dr. Antoinette's husband also worked the polls in Maryland. So we just want to give a shout out to all of you. I see you, Deborah Sneed. I see you, Deborah Johnson, coming in back to back. All right, y'all. I see you, Dr. Antoinette. There she is. Shout out to your husband for working the polls yesterday. So y'all, we have a lot to talk about. Um, and I'm gonna start by saying this if I can. That's why I have a little smile on my face. What I've been talking about for 2 years actually happened yesterday. It actually happened yesterday. So slow down. Let me back up and tell you what's happening. We still don't have all the results, and just bear with me for a moment. I see you, Tracy Burrs. I see you. All right, y'all. If you want need to name this something, call it. Somebody said it sure did. I'm telling y'all, it did exactly what I've been talking about for 2 years. And so I'm kind of, I was getting text messages up to about 2:14 this morning saying, "You've been saying this." And it's like, wow. And I'm gonna say this to you all. It is okay to pat yourself on the back. Because although I'm exhausted, I said, wow, I really do know what I'm talking about. And it's just good to have that, if I can say it this way, that confirmation that you know what you know, that you know. And I know that I know that I know. So I'm feeling a little, I'm feeling, I can't even tell you. On one hand, I feel great. On the other hand, I feel like, what just happened? I see you, Danielle. I see you. All right, y'all. So let me back up and give some information. Yes, Leah, validation. As of November the 22nd, right at the 1st of November, 55 members of Congress, 6 members of the U.S. Senate, and 49 of the U.S. House, they had announced that they would not seek re-election. So that's what kind of puts so much into play. And throughout the year, I've been talking about the retirements that were coming up. Of those 38 members, 6 are senators, 32 representatives have announced their retirement. 5 retiring Senate members are Republican and 1 is a Democrat. And then of the retiring House members, 22 are Democrats and 10 are Republicans. I see you, Judy Neal. Good morning, Regina, as well. Y'all, 17 U.S. House members are ran for other offices. 5 Republicans and 4 Democrats were seeking seats in the U.S. Senate. one Republican and three Democrats were running for governor. One Republican was running for Secretary of State. One Democrat was running for mayor, and one Democrat and one Republican were running for attorney general. So that's what set everything in motion. And then we had all 435 seats up in the House. So that put a lot of things in place. So there's a lot of predictions, a lot of things that were going out there. I was telling you about Michael Moore, that he's never been wrong. Now, he's not too far wrong, but he was still wrong. Kenny Stanley said there wasn't a red wave. Nope. Hold on, I'm getting there. There wasn't a red wave or a blue wave. And y'all, I'm telling you, let me just go there real quick. I'm saying this, and I want y'all to hear this. And those of you who've been tuning into NewsInMotion from day one know I have been saying this. What actually happened last night, and we still have the House is undecided for the control, and the Senate is undecided for the control. But what we have is a gridlock. No matter how it ends up, we will have a gridlock. That's exactly what we're going to have. Which, if you ask me, and I've been praying about this, is why I've been asleep. I've been praying about this, which really sets up both the House and the Senate to be controlled by the constituents. Hello, somebody. That's exactly what I believe is about to happen. Because if people are really going to do what they say they're going to do, they're going to reach back and listen to their constituents, which means, y'all, we have to show up. We have to be at the table. And I believe I said that a couple weeks ago about being prepared to be at the table. Facebook user says that this warrants further conversation. Gail, convo started at the movie theater. I don't know who that is as the Facebook user. Somebody tell me who that is. This warrants further conversation. It started at the movie theater. Who is that? Lori, good morning to you. Yeah, they're going to have to do their job. They really are. Because some of them are, oh, that was Dr. Annette. Yes, that was our conversation at the movie. Yes, it was. After the Woman King. Good morning, Latrice Jones. So it's very interesting what's happening. So let me tell you what I see. Number one thing is for sure. People split tickets yesterday, up and down on both sides, not one side, but on both sides. And redistricting sent a very clear message, as well as the U.S. Census. Both of those things set up the mapping for everything. Now, I don't know if Davia is on here, but I got to go back to a conversation I had with Davia last year. And we were talking about gerrymandering and the mapping and all that. I see you, Cam Edmondson. Good morning. And I said to her, I said, that's going to backfire. Because as the housing market changes and people begin to move, their maps are going to fall apart. And we began to see a little bit of that on last evening. So where you may have heard the pundit speaking one way, I'm going another direction to give y'all this information. So people split tickets, which hopefully people were also doing their research and their homework. I know people in Ohio, for example. Good morning, Virgie, coming in from YouTube. I know people in Ohio, for example, for whatever reason, voted for Mike DeWine and the lieutenant governor, but went Democrat on everything else. I know people who were mixing and matching all over the board. So when you're hearing people say down ballot, and y'all know what I say about that, and yes, there are times that I do that. Y'all know what I say about that. As people were doing that, people were thinking, I don't know. So that's why you see the gridlock that's happening right now. Latrice Jones says people didn't read the issues and people didn't think of the future implications. I want to talk about issue 2 for a moment in Ohio. It passed. People did not read that entire issue. And what's going to happen on the ground here in Ohio come 2024, we're going to have to really move the community to say if the last day to register to vote is October the 11th, we're going to have to lie and say the last day to register to vote is October 1st. Seriously, I don't want to say lie, but I did say it. We're going to have to really do a movement, a push before the end, whichever direction you want to go. And that can backfire on both Republicans and Democrats. That can backfire. So let's just keep going. So there was no real blue wave, a blue or red wave. With that said, the House is undecided. The Senate is undecided. And then also, y'all, Adam Frisch, seems to be beating, as of this very moment, right before we came onto the air, Lauren Boebert. Yeah, that's an interesting race that's happening. So here's a quick breakdown of what's going on, and then I'm going to dive deeper if y'all will indulge me just for a little while. Just for a little while. Jacqueline said our work is cut out first. It is. But I'm begging y'all, and I'm telling y'all right here on News in Motion, we will keep up with the races as they're coming in. But you're not going to hear me after today and after telling you about races. You're not going to hear me talk about voting until January the 3rd. I promise you that, because I need to breathe and you need to breathe as well. Y'all, Fetterman defeated somebody say hello. Seriously, in a closely watched race, and that was the swing state. They're calling the swing state of Pennsylvania. Democrats flipped that seat. That's what happened, y'all. High profile contests that haven't been called yet. Dozens of House races, including in New York and California. That's huge. In New York, seems like they're going from blue to red. Some places in California as well. They're too close to call. In the Senate, undecided races in Wisconsin, Georgia, which I have no idea what's happening in Georgia. And I'm going to say this right now. Regardless what side of the aisle you're on, do your research with Georgia. If that runoff, which it looks like it's going to be a runoff, is going to be on December the 6th. December the 6th. Hear me, people. Do your research and make a determination who you really want to stand behind and vote for. Regardless if you are in Georgia or in California, whatever candidate you want to see pull this out in Georgia, I'm asking you as viewers to put your money where your mouth is. I don't care if it's $1, just start flooding that particular campaign with the funds that they need to win the race. I'm going to talk about money in a moment. Latrice and I had some conversation on Facebook yesterday. I'm gonna break that down in a moment as well. Good morning to my daughter. She's like, I don't know what happened in Georgia. Just be ready, sister girl, for that ground game in Georgia. I'm gonna have to just come bunk out on your floor so we can make this happen. Good morning, Dominic. It's so good to see her pop in here. So y'all, she says hello. She goes, hey, LOL. But listen, y'all. That should not be in a close race. And then at the end, you see Walker went ahead of Warnock. I'm like, what is going on? It makes no sense. We know Stacey Abrams lost. We're gonna get to that in a moment as well. So y'all, so we have Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada will determine control of the chamber. Republicans need to win 3 of those to gain control. They're not up there yet. Now, y'all, thanks to DeSantis' map, Republicans swept Florida. And here's a question. How can a governor have that much control that they can control the map? There's something wrong with that. So that started happening. All those started coming in with the House. 4 of the seats that they needed 5 to gain control, but it started going back and forth because Republicans were not ready. And Kevin McCarthy, sit down. You couldn't even come out and have a party. And you had thanks, shout out to the reporters and the camera people who were scanning that room. There was nobody in there, Kevin McCarthy. You don't have a wave. And let me pause and say this. I know I'm everywhere, but let me talk about Kevin McCarthy real quick while I'm right here. Kevin McCarthy, in the next 2 years, even if the House goes to the GOP, which it looks like it's leaning that way, understand that you don't have enough to control things. It's going to be chaos in there. It's going to be a gridlock. Kim Edmonds said there's no way Georgia's race should have been close. Not at all. So with that, you have that gridlock that's going on in the House. You're going to have that gridlock. So yeah, but DeSantis gerrymandered that place. Woo! Y'all, and Marco Rubio won as well. So we have gubernatorial candidates make history. Democratic Maura Haley of Massachusetts was elected the first openly lesbian governor in the U.S. The first woman governor, GOP Sarah Huckabee Sanders, will be the first woman in Arkansas. The office not long ago was occupied by her father for 10 years. And then, hello, somebody, come on up in here, Maryland. Democrat Wes Moore will become Maryland's first Black governor. So congratulations to you, Wes Moore. He is the incoming governor of Maryland. Yes, he is. And he is the only third Black governor elected in the country. Y'all, states protected abortion rights. So let's talk about this a moment too. We're talking about the news. Let's talk about this a moment. How is it that the states protected abortion rights when it came to the propositions, the referendums, the ballot measures, but they did not swing the side of their Senate or their House seats? There's something there. Women are saying, this is my body. But at the same time, they're saying, but this is my pocket, or this is my gas, or this is this, that, or the other. We have to think through that. Good morning, Hester. We have to think through that as well. So, and ballot measures sparked by the Supreme Court ruling of Roe v. Wade. California, Michigan, Vermont voted to really enshrine abortion rights in their states' constitutions. And an abortion right in Kentucky is still too close to call as of this morning. And if y'all see anything coming in, just let me know. I have an interactive map going on my iPad, but I'm trying to go through 3 different pages at one time. Yes, Dr. Antoinette, your state did do that thing. And come on through, Gen Z. Come on through. Gen Z for Congress. They said this TikToker was going to come through. That's how he ran his campaign, on TikTok. 25-year-old Democrat Maxwell Frost won the race in Florida's 10th district, congressional district, becoming the first member of Gen Z to be elected to Congress. So he did that thing. He is filling Val Deming's seat, who left the seat to run for Senate against Marco Rubio. I'll get there in a minute. So in the governor's races overall, y'all, they did pretty well. They did well. 21 Dems so far, they gained 2 seats. GOP 24, they lost 2 seats. So there was some flipping there when it came to the gubernatorial races. So that's what's happening here. So hold on. I told you about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. What about Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania? He came through for the people. He came through. Y'all, Stacey Abrams, again, I want to go there. She lost. But I want y'all to hear these numbers. And I fact-checked these numbers all the way through. Listen to this. 84% Black men, hello somebody, say Black men, voted for Stacey Abrams. 92% of Black women voted for Stacey Abrams. Hello somebody. We will get out and vote. We will do it. But this right here is a clear picture of who did not vote for Stacey Abrams. And that's where we need to have the conversation, because right now, women across the board were saying they were voting for this, that, and the other. They didn't come through. And we need to talk about that. We need to be honest about that. They did not come through, which means we have to do our due diligence to make sure people are being registered to vote. Again, I'm not going to talk about it no more after today until next year, but we have to do our due diligence as well. For example, I did a roll call with everybody in my family, nieces, nephews, everybody. Did every adult in your family vote? Has every adult in your family voted? People were texting me back. I had one nephew that said no. I said, what? What do you mean no? And he says, I don't have a way to get there. Well, how long was it going to take you to tell somebody? So it's right about maybe 3, 4 o'clock. He was getting ready to go to work. I said, no, you stay right where you are. So I reached out to my sister. She said, I'll go get him. She went to get him. It was her son anyway. Went to get him and took him to the post. I said, And then he texted me later and was asking me questions about, I voted this way, but I had no idea what this meant, which says to me, we have to do more teaching. And I said, at 7:25 a.m., I'm going to need you on NewsInMotion every morning, Monday through Thursday. And he just kind of chuckled. But I shared that to say, check on your people. If I would have never sent that text message, he would have been on his way to work and not have voted. as a registered voter because he did not have a way to get there. And living in the suburban areas, you may not have transportation. You may not have access to the public transportation that people have. So those are things we need to do. So again, history was made in many ways. In Maryland, again, we have Wes Moore, Maury Haley. In Massachusetts, Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. New Hampshire voters elected James Rosner, the first transgender man to win in a state legislator election. Told you about Maxwell Frost. Y'all, Democrat Summerlee Lee wins election in Pennsylvania. I believe it's Summerlee Lee. Somebody correct me, I may have that wrong. In Pennsylvania's 12th district, becoming the first Black woman elected to Congress from the state. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Democrat Becca Bylent won the state Seoul House seat in Vermont. Vermont became the last state to elect a woman to Congress. They finally woke up. So now y'all say what y'all want to say. Y'all say what y'all want to say. And all the pundits talked about it last night. I got a little bit frustrated with Rachel Maddow going against Lawrence O'Donnell yesterday because Lawrence O'Donnell called it very early on. He said what normally happens to presidents during midterm elections, they lose all kinds of seats all over the place. They just go flat. And he said that's not happening to Joe Biden. And Rachel Maddow said, it's too early. We're not going to talk about that. And she came back 2 hours later and apologized, which I'm going to give her respect for apologizing. But he called that thing. See, as pundits, as strategists, as analysts, when it comes to things like this, you cannot be afraid to put it out there. Y'all know I stood alone talking about I split tickets all the time. Y'all know I stood alone for 2 years when I talk about fair and balanced. Let me get to that. With the gridlock that is happening in the chamber, we may see some work done. We may very well see some work done. There's gridlock there. I believe in fair and balance of government, as long as the people are actually doing the job they're supposed to do and not just siding with their party to create something to block down. Now, let me say this, and Democrats, pay attention, those of you lawmakers over there. Now, if Republicans take over the Senate, best believe the first thing they're going to do is kill the filibuster. Where y'all been trying to be kumbaya, all is great, we don't want to do a filibuster. They're going to come in there and filibuster you, and they're going to pass everything they want to pass. Wake up. Almost cussed there. Wake up. But what I like, as long as people are being true to their constituents, what I like is that what could really happen, and what's happening in the chamber is that you're going to see a very fair and balanced chamber, which means there'll be checks and balance, as long as they don't just go with the flow because so and so says go this way. The whip in the House is going to have a vital job there. And y'all know what a whip is, right? The whip is the person who goes around and whips votes to get things voted upon. That position is going to be key in the House, because right now it's nothing but gridlock, and it's going to be gridlock for 2 years. And even where we are right now, regardless of which way it goes, it's going to be gridlock. It's going to be gridlock in the House. In the Senate, if it goes to GOP, they're going to kill the filibuster. Watch what I say. That's going to be the first thing they do, is kill that filibuster. Watch what I say. But Joe Biden turned out pretty well. There's been only 2 other presidents who's done well in midterm election. That's Bill Clinton, even while he was being impeached. It's like, how do you do that? And you still control these chambers. And then we have George W. Bush. I think I said that right. One of the Bushes. I believe it's George W. Bush. Jacqueline said, yes, we know what a whip is. You taught us well. Thank you, Jack. At least I hope I did. All right, y'all. I have no idea how J.D. Vance won the Senate seat in Ohio. I have no idea. None. I have no idea. Y'all make it stop. I said this already. Excuse me. I don't know. I think I'm catching a cold, but we're just going to rebuke that, right? Herschel Walker, I don't know how he's leading, 49.4% to Raphael Warnock. Let me see. How am I saying that? Herschel Walker is 49.4% to Raphael Warnock, 48.5%. Y'all, and then we have the Libertarian candidate. So let's talk about that for a moment. Chase Oliver, we're talking about 2.1% with 98 of the vote counted. It looks like it's going to be a runoff. So here's a question. There was a lot of conversation around where people were losing the race, and they really believe it's because of the independent or the libertarian or the Green Party who's running the race. First of all, everyone has a right to run. Everyone has a right to run. Now, if you see something gridlock like this, or you see something you know it's going to be too close to call, my question is, do we, whoever that third person may be, do they have a responsibility to say, let me step aside? I don't know. I don't know, because everyone has a right to run for office. And this Chase Oliver had a right to run for office, and so far he has 2.1% of the vote. Now, as in Georgia, if neither candidate hits that 50% threshold, it automatically goes into a runoff. Again, that will be on December the 6th. But with that said, I want to see in the chat, do you agree? And the chat I'm looking at is YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Those of you who are on podcast or audio, just email me. I want to know your thoughts. Do you believe that that libertarian or that Green Party candidate or independent candidate, do you think they should stay in the race? I want to know. I'm not saying yes or no. I just want to know what you think. Anybody mad at Chase Oliver in Georgia? I want to know what you think. Latrice says these third parties are definitely problematic. Explain that, Latrice. Why do you say they're problematic? Kim Edmondson says, who are the independent leaders? Well, when I was sharing with y'all last week, I shared with y'all the independent project. I shared with y'all no labels. They're a movement that is building. They're tired of the red and blue. They're tired of the Democrats and Republicans. So there's a movement that is building, and people are then running like in that middle. They're running for that seat. Pastor Alex says, I think that they should stay in the race. Okay. Deborah Sneed says, yes, they should stay in the race. They have every right to stay in the race. The question is, are we paying attention to their platform, or have we ignored them because we believe it's either blue or red? And see, I think this is a season. Again, I'm loving this gridlock. I know y'all mad at me, but I'm loving this gridlock. This is the season again for the constituents to be in control. I really believe that. Facebook user Mike Nicholson says, I just saw it popped up here on another screen. I mean, if they really have no chance to win, all they're doing is siphoning votes from a candidate. Okay. It's interesting. So here's my next question. Should we know if they're Democrat, Republican, or independent when we go in the polls, or should we just see names depending upon the seat? I want to know your thoughts on that. Lori Wallace says Facebook keep kicking me off. I'm sorry, girl. Latrice says, I think the Green Libertarian, etc. parties are not helping. They don't raise money. Hardly anyone knows their platform. Okay, I hear you, Latrice. I hear you. Shirley says, also remember the treat of the Afro-American takeover. Tell me more about that. Jacqueline says this is a constituent season. It really is. Y'all, there were 132 ballot measures on the ballot. Voters in 37 states decided on 132 state ballots. Many of them had to do with either marijuana or abortion. Those were the two main things. Also, electric vehicles also snuck in there as well. Pastor Alex said, I will never again be in bondage to the two parties. I hear you, Pastor Alex. I hear you. If y'all want to know more about the ballot measures, you can go to ballotpedia.org and then /22 2022, excuse me, ballot measures. Ballotpedia.org backslash 2022 ballot measures. Now, y'all, Vermont voters approved again their proposed amending the state constitution to ensure personal reproductive liberty. Y'all, and before it all began, Arizona was already having problems with their voting machines. It's just crazy there. So the Republicans has already sued Arizona to extend voting. So we don't know what's happening there. And yeah, it's time for me to call out. And I want to go to the conversation, brief conversation Latrice and I had on Facebook last night. I want to call out that the Democratic National Convention did not give enough money to run some of these ground games. I will start with Val Demings. Val Demings could have won that, but she was short, to my understanding, about 40 million. Now the other team, Marco Rubio, outspent her by $40 million. They had a serious ground game there. Sherry Beasley is another one. She was outspent. Both of these Black women should have received the funds because both of these Black women could have beat their opponent, but they did not have the money and they had been asking for money. Came out last night that Tim Ryan, he did get more money than Val Demings and Sherry Beasley, but even Tim Ryan did not get the money. Nan Whaley did not get, I don't think she got much money at all. But that is crazy. Latrice Jones says, when I worked for the court, the parties or judges were never listed on the ballot because they're supposed to be nonpartisan. There's that. There you have it. So y'all, so I'm calling out the Democratic Party on that this morning. And here's the other thing that I want to point out. Everyone who distanced themselves from Joe Biden, most all of them lost from the House. So and those who ran on the infrastructure bill and ran with had Joe Biden come stump the grounds with him won. So again, it's more what is it? What are the needs of your constituents? What are the needs there? So that money. So let me ask this question. How do we come to the table and suggest to the National Democratic Committee or the National Republican Committee or the Independent Committee, how do we come and say, have equal opportunity for everyone who's running? Because if I'm sending you money, I want that money to go to that particular candidate. Or do we bypass the party, sending them money and send the money directly to the candidate? Because even as we're looking at this possible runoff on December the 6th in Georgia, do we go to the Republican Party or the Democratic Party with our money, or do we go directly to the candidates? What do we do there? And yes, Obama was a factor as well, where and Obama was great in this last 2-week leg. Everywhere he went, that person won. The Obama factor is still real. So Warnock needs Obama. There's a runoff in Georgia. That face is going to be key. And let me go back to John Fetterman for a moment. People were waiting for Oprah Winfrey to say something. Oprah Winfrey finally said something last Thursday evening. There was a huge webinar with Oprah Winfrey Live, and she came out and said, if I was a resident of Pennsylvania, I would be voting for John Fetterman for many reasons. I mean, and she started listing them. So when she did that, his numbers started soaring as well. Deborah Johnson says, go to the candidate. This is the only way to ensure they get the money. All right, y'all, redistricting again helped Florida, but while Ron DeSantis is redistricting Florida, you got a possible hurricane named Nicole coming through on Thursday. So, you might want to get that together too. Y'all, Letitia James, AG Letitia James. She is still the Attorney General in New York. So that's really good. So that's just some highlights. Again, we will share what's happening when it comes with the results, as we're still waiting to see what's going to happen there. But that's happening. That's happening. Y'all, just for some fun, before I go to sleep, just for some fun, y'all, I'm just curious, what would you do with $2 billion? Yep, $2 billion, y'all, after an overnight delay on Monday. The drawing of the Powerball. Y'all know we talked about it a couple of days ago. They had to delay it because there was some security, something was going on. Well, one person in Los Angeles County won $2 billion. That person hasn't given their name. I hope I know them. No one has come forward yet, but more than 11.2 million tickets won cash prizes in the drawing. Were you one of those 11.2 million people? And that was totally $98.1 million. 22 tickets across the country matched off 5 white balls to win $1 million prize each. And one ticket in Florida, of course, won 2 million by matching all 5. And then the major player, their winner, 2.9 billion. So it's going to be interesting. I hope I know you. I hope I know you. Y'all, in other news, real quick, Pastor Alex said the third parties will never have a shot as long as voters don't do their research and vote for their interests. I absolutely agree with you. And y'all, let me just back up before I go to you this other news. I'm almost done, y'all. Thank y'all for hanging on with me too. Is my daughter still on? Dominic, are you still on here? The third party. If y'all remember, I started with the GOP on a Tuesday. I went to the Democrats on the Tuesday. I went to the Independents on the following Tuesday. So I went through each one. There she is. She said yes. I went through each one of those. Pastor Alex is correct. If you just follow their movement, their platform, and hear what they have to say, you would be amazed. You would be amazed. And the other thing that's becoming a thing, and I'll get to this other news. The other thing that's becoming a thing, people are switching parties to get in. That's the other thing that's happening. So you really don't know where these people are. That's why I say the constituents are going to be in control because right now it is gridlock. Y'all, Dr. Antoinette says she won $4. She says, please respect my family's desire for privacy. Girl, for that $4, we're going to give you all the privacy you need. Robert Holman says very suspect. So there's that. So I was asking if my daughter was still on here because I have a couple things I want to share. Number one, don't leave yet. I'm gonna get to you in a minute. Number one, Brittany Griner, y'all, the American basketball star, y'all know who is in prison in Russia, has been moved to a penal colony, according to her legal team, and that's Associated Press reporting. And if anyone cares at all, Elon Musk sold nearly 4 billion of his Tesla stock after his Twitter deal closed. That man needs some money. Now he got money. You rolling with billions. You got money, but he sold $4 billion of Tesla stock. So we don't know what he's doing with that as well. And then he said he wasn't selling any more Tesla stock. But he did, and that's CNBC is reporting. Facebook user, that has to be Mike Nicholson, says Michelle Reynolds was out here acting like a Democrat and putting out no issues. Well, there's that. And then y'all, Meta lays off more than 11,000 employees. The parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp reduced its workforce by 13% and has extended a hiring freeze through the first quarter of next year. Y'all, social media is in trouble. And if you notice, people are going to TikTok. That's where it's at, which I am so shocked that I'm saying that out loud because I fought TikTok for the longest. All right, the reason I was asking my daughter was still on here. Yeah, we are moving into the season leading up to Thanksgiving and leading up to Christmas, where we're going to change this conversation to families. As you know, we will have George Saunders on next Tuesday talking about a book he just released. Then we have some other people that we're going to be highlighting. But along with that, I want us to really focus on our brand. I want us to focus on what we are doing as a community, as a people. I want us to focus on our marketing techniques. I want us to focus on a whole lot. And I mentioned my daughter because she's just a brain in all of that. I think she's brilliant, not just because she's my daughter. I honestly think she's brilliant. Hi, Isaiah. Isaiah wrote up in here like, hey, I'm coming in here. Stay there. Don't go anywhere. So I want to share with all of you that is so, so important that we consider our brand, consider where we're going when we are hitting 2023.
Okay.
Start looking at your website if you have one, or your blog if you have one, or your podcast if you have one. Start thinking about your purpose and where you want to go. I'm leading into the inspirational message now. Y'all, I want you to be still, get very quiet, and know what it is you are doing in this season. Ready Publication. Again, I want to thank all of you who downloaded the free digital voter resource guide. I want to give a shout out again to Amber, our designer, who helped us do that. Ready Publication, we've done a look at it, and we were saying, wow, people loved it coming back. So we're going to move towards twice a year, where we're going to highlight certain subject matters. We're looking currently at a couple of different things. I don't want to put it out there. A couple of different things that we're doing that's going to build that up. I shared with you the other day that I'm moving into a membership. We'll talk more about that in the coming days as well. But we want to really focus on family. We want to focus on Thanksgiving. We're going to do something with food insecurity. We're going to do a lot more of advocacy, because I meant it when I said we're coming to the table as a collective body, and I don't want to leave anybody behind. So, once again, I tried this last year and we didn't do too well. I'm going to try it again this year. I want you to email me. Please do not put it in the chat, because we won't see it. The chat, something happens as we go along. Thank you, Isaiah. I want you to email me at newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com. I am giving first space. Hear me. I'm giving first space to all of our regular listeners and viewers. If you have a business, if you have a side hustle, if you have a book or whatever, we will post your information over the next several days in the ticker below. We're doing that for you free. Okay. Everyone else, we're going to have a charge for that. And then we're going to build a resource for all of your information. Now, I want y'all to hear this. Y'all, we are still in the millions when it comes to replays. We are still in the millions. The videos, the audios, not the audios, the videos and the podcast, they never go anywhere. They're still there. So people can go back and check them out all the time. So your information will always be out there. So we're doing that. That's our Thanksgiving gift to you, to say thank you for being great supporters and for tuning in. That's our Christmas gift to you. Now it's up to you to get it to us. It's up to you to get it to us. And yes, we will vet and make sure that you have been a regular listener or viewer, and we will vet to make sure your product is something that aligns with what it is that we're doing. We want to support you. We want to support you. So that's what we're doing. So, with that, Isaiah, before we sign off, what was it like for you to go to that voting booth on yesterday to vote as are you a Z or
I'm I think I'm Gen Z.
Gen
Yeah,
Z?
I'm
What
Gen
was that
Z.
like for you?
It was definitely empowering. Whenever I get the opportunity to vote, it's not only just my civic duty, but I also think of those who came before us. Um, I think back to Dr. King and all those who made sacrifices um, for not only our people, but all people. To have the equal right to vote. And I also want to give a shout out to some of the other young people or Gen Z who went out and voted. Some of them I'm close friends with voted for the first time yesterday. So it's good to
Good.
see that we're taking elections more serious, or that we're starting to find them a little more important and voting at elections other than the presidential.
Love it. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your input. Yeah, that's from one of our Gen Z. Again, Isaiah works the boards. He comes in every now and then, like he did today. And I welcome all of that. And he knows he can pop in here anytime, but he works the boards. He's a freelancer. If anyone's looking for any type of videography, can you talk about that and how people can reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach me on any social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Um, Most of y'all know my parents, Fred and Latrice Jones, so that's how another way you can get in contact with them. And I'll travel to you. I will set up early. I'm a believer in getting there early to visualize and set up so that way you can have the best production necessary.
I like it. I like it. And Mike Nicholson just posted that he recently acquired a new job. He's the lead marketer and creative there. And then shout out to Lori Williams Wallace. I'm not for sure if she's still on here, but she's back on a television set doing what she does, and it's amazing. So shout out to her. I don't know. I don't know all that's happening, but I'm excited about it. So again, that's our way to say thank you to you and our Christmas gift to you. So get that to us ASAP so that we can put that out there, so that people can start connecting with you. All right, y'all. That's all we have for this midterm 2022 election. We will continue to update more so on our Facebook page of what's happening with the House and with the Senate as those results come in. Y'all, thank y'all for y'all's love. I appreciate y'all deeply, but I need y'all to do me one favor. Don't call me today. Not today. Don't call me today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, y'all. Y'all know what I say. Stay well. And remember, make some bold moves. We're out.
News in motion.